Well,
Vern, it's literally this far to end 15 years of misery.
yeah.
About a yard.
The guys to our right, the Army assistant coaches, looked over at our booth during the time and said, one more. Here it is. Ahmad Bradshaw, the quarterback.
It's over.
Coach's booth. You go into this game always wanting to sing second. And for the first time, Army's going to get to do that.
In your last game,
Yeah.
you're going to get to see it.
Under a minute. Jeff Monken, Edgar Allan Poe Jr., and for the first time since 2001, our soldiers overseas will watch as their colleagues get to sing second. Allie the Force is in the midst of this with Jeff Monken and other Army players.
Oh, love you.
Coach, you've waited 15 long years for this moment. What emotions are swirling through you right now?
Oh, I'm just so proud of our team. I'm so happy for our kids. I'm so happy for our Corps of Cadets, for every soldier in the foxhole all around the world, for Brandon Jackson, for Chuck Stretzman, for the long gray line. I mean, it's a long time coming. I'm just so proud of this team, the way they fought. What a second half. I couldn't be more proud.
Coach, for the senior class, how special is it to share in this moment knowing that they can go out the way that they've dreamt of going out?
Just what a thrill for them. This is a great class, great leadership. And every one of these guys, I just love them. And it's so great to see guys you love so much have success like this and be able to do this together.
Guys, what was it like to soak Coach in the Gatorade finally?
He deserved it. He's the best coach out there, best coach in the world.
We love Coach so much. I just thank him for everything in the world. Right now, that's the best feeling ever.
Beat Navy!
Yeah!
Vern.
Thank you, Allie. What a scene. Jeff Monken. The streak has ended.
Vern, you're pretty good at producing dramatic things to happen around you, by the way. You're a pretty lucky guy.
Let's watch the alma maters. Midshipmen have completed their alma mater. And the surge of cadets, be careful. There are going to be more people on the field than there will be in the stands, as at long last, Army gets to sing second. Well, the celebration will go on for at least a year. I assure you of that. Time now for the Napa play of the game, Ahmad Bradshaw's touchdown.
It was the end of an 80-yard drive. It started with a pass by Bradshaw and finished off with a run.
Listen to radio announcer for Army, Rich DeMarco.
Black Knights knocking on the door. Bradshaw runs right, off tackle to the 5-yard line, cuts back to the goal line, spinning to the goal line, touchdown Army! Ahmad Bradshaw puts the Black Knights back on top on a beautiful run with 6 minutes remaining in the ball game.
And so it ended. In the middle of all that, Jeff Monken, what a thrill. 21-17. Here's the lineup for tonight. Quick goodbyes, our guys in the booth. Chuck, David, Butch, Amanda. And down in the truck, we've got Craig Silver and Steve Milton, best in the business. We'll return to Baltimore. We're coming back with some final thoughts on this game and a lifetime. Well, the celebration continues down on the field. We've got some mischief makers just behind us. Here is Jeff Monken. At last, it's over. And we were thrilled to be here to call it. I saw my first college football game in September of 1952. Notre Dame beat Texas 14-3 in what is now Darrell Royal Memorial Stadium in my hometown of Austin. I watched the game while selling soft drinks in the north end zone stands, nickel a bottle. I was 12 years old. That game instilled in me a love of a sport that has enriched my life in a multitude of ways. I did my first college network football telecast in September of '74, Ohio U at Kent State. A young graduate assistant for Kent State was in his first year of coaching. His name was Nick Saban. Today, after hundreds of Saturday afternoons on the air, it's time to step aside with a grateful nod to all of you who've been watching over the decades. To my colleagues at CBS Sports, and a very special thank you to the wonderful 75 men and women who make up our college football travel roster. To my partners, Jill Arrington, Tracy Wolfson, and Allie LaForce on the sideline, and to the two extraordinary men with whom I've shared this booth over the last 17 years, Todd Blackledge and Gary Danielson. Here's the tough part. Most of all, to my lovely and amazing wife, Nancy. We've shared this journey for 34 years and counting. She has been in the booth for every game this season, and our crew admires her as much as I do. This final season has been filled with nostalgia, sentiment, and celebration. I've been overwhelmed by the expressions of warmth and the conveyance of good wishes by folks in the SEC and around the country. Now, I welcome Brad Nessler to fill this position, and I wish him at least 17 years with Gary and Allie. I'm not going into hiding. I'll see all of you during March Madness, and I'll yell at you from the 16th tower at the Masters. Till then, thank you. Thanks. Hi, honey.
What a scene. The long-awaited celebration in Baltimore as for the first time since 2001, Army sang second. After defeating Navy, the Jeep postgame show is on the way.
CBS Sports presents the Jeep postgame show.
All right, welcome to the Jeep postgame show. I'm Adam Zucker. A reminder, tonight on CBS, celebrate the holiday season with Rudolph and Frosty. Followed by 48 Hours tonight, only CBS. In the game you just saw, the streak comes to an end. Army beats Navy 21-17. I'm joined by Rick Neuheisel and Brian Jones for the first time since 2001. Army gets it done. What a wild time it must be, but from Baltimore all the way to West Point.
I thought Army could win this year, and I know I said they would win last year as well. But the reason I was really solidified, in my conviction was because the weight disparity, it has closed that gap, especially on the offensive line for Army. They have gotten bigger. That's the reason they were second in the nation in rushing on the season, and they just showed that power running game throughout this ball game.
Can you imagine what was going through Army's minds, the fans of Army's minds, when Zach Abey went for that 41-yard touchdown, 17-14? Right. Oh, my goodness. But the 80-yard drive, 12 plays, 80-yard, the long gray line got the long-anticipated drive, and congratulations.
And it's about sustaining drives as well. You look at third down conversions for Army, 8 of 13, Navy, 2 of 7. And we had just remarked here that the Army had not completed a pass. And what did they do? Hit Edgar Allan Poe.
2 passes on that drive. The one shovel pass as well.
Poetic justice. And if Army didn't turn the ball over, I mean, look at how they dominated on the ground. Over 300 yards rushing, Navy just north of 100.
Well, Army's defense, we talked about in the pregame, they were an outstanding front. They did a terrific job corralling Navy for most of the night. A couple of passes got them by surprise early in the third quarter, which got Navy back into the ball game. But you're right, Adam. This was a fantastic defensive effort by the Black Knights.
Who won the turnover battle? The team that won the ball game, and that was Army. 3 turnovers to 4 by Navy. And in Navy, I thought they could really cause Army some problems through the air, but they couldn't. Air Force passed for 195 yards versus Army. They're in Army's house. Navy could not get that going with Zach Abey.
But Army, they don't care how or why. They just care that this is happening right now. Beating Navy for the first time since 2001.
Well, and they took a page from Navy. We talked about, again, in the pregame, Navy likes to be the boa constrictor. They like to take the ball and play keep away. But in this game, over 40 minutes of possession time for Army. they out-Navied Navy.
And we thought also after that first half that it was possible that Navy was a little worn out. They were a little tired. First time, and since you said it during the pregame, 1941, they didn't have a bye week going into this ball game. Right. And they played in the AC championship game a week ago, of course, lost to Temple. But in the second half, they started to show that they were the Navy of old in the way they got down the field. And Zach Abey, a beautiful run by him. It looked like he was going to go down. Tacklers were there, but no, he would not be denied.
Were you surprised at all, based on the time of possession and Army's ability to run the ball when they didn't turn it over, that Navy punted when they did late in the game?
It was a calculated call for Kenny Niumatalolo right there. With only one timeout, you knew you had to stop him, and it'd been difficult to stop him all day long. Plus, Jeff Monken was 2 for 2 on fourth down. He was willing to take some risks on fourth down. So I'll bet you Kenny's sitting there kicking himself about that right now, wondering if he should have gone for it.
There was 4 minutes left on that clock, and you've got a one-dimensional football team. Up to that point, they'd only completed 2 passes. And so I thought it was the right move to go ahead and punt with 4 minutes. We can hold these guys. We know this offense like the back of our hand, so let's make sure we forced them into passing the rock, but it would not happen.
And by the way, we pointed out the turnovers. Those were mistakes, but Army had no penalties in this game either.
Both these teams are flawless when it comes to penalties. We came into this game, Navy led the country in the fewest penalties, and into this game, I think they had 2 and Army had maybe 0.
Yeah,
I mean,
Navy's the only team in the nation, Navy, that had less than 300 yards in penalties.
And you talked about how Navy might have been worn out, having played 8 straight weeks with that conference championship game for the first time. Army had actually been off for 3 weeks, and they came out clearly with a lot more energy and had that 14-0 lead, which was their largest lead in this game in many years. And Navy, of course, losing Woolworth, their quarterback, so they had to put it on Zach Abey to rally the troops, and in the third quarter, he's able to chip away.
Well, here's what we talked about. Ivan Jasper, realizing that rushing yards were going to be hard, found some passing angles that led to this touchdown right here. Abey finishing off the drive for 1 yard out.
And here you go, going back to the passing game, a busted coverage here, but you had some freshman defensive backs back there due to injuries for Army, and you saw Navy take advantage of that.
Indeed, and that drive ended with a field goal to make it 14-10 late in the third, and this was the play where Army grads around the world were shrieking.
Not again! 4 missed tackles on this run by Abey.
Gave him the lead, but Ahmad Bradshaw capping that 12-play, 80-yard drive.
What a way to answer that score by Zach Abey. 12 plays, as you just mentioned, 80 yards, a couple passes, and they get in the end zone for the winning touchdown.
And a coach's favorite moment right there.
My favorite call. Victory.
Ahmad Bradshaw, where's the football? Why is he not grasping that football?
It's not the
like
World Series. It's not the Cubs winning the World Series.
It's the Super Bowl to Army. They had lost 14 straight.
That football belongs at West Point.
Well, it has some value. I agree with you.
Indeed. An amazing win by Army as they end that losing streak going back to 2001. We will discuss the college football playoff and hit the coaching carousel, plus hear from the Heisman finalists when the Jeep postgame show continues.